Do this! Gentlemen, hello. Welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons this week. Lot to get through in the recap, so I'll blitz through it quickly before we get back to the political intrigue that is the Shattered Coast. Last session, we began across the other side of Ambyr in the Westland Tavern, in the capital, where Gylndan caught up with Dom, met Galahad, the knight from Tales of Old that helped the Guardians defeat Yara. And after a quick catch-up, they discussed the next steps and plans for the future. Gylndan looked through the files and documents and journals from Nasir, which led him to discover more about this mysterious Yggdrasil. It turns out Yggdrasil is a great cosmological tree that connects all the planes together. Each branch of the great tree connected to a different plane of existence, and it could possibly be used to travel to any plane unhindered by the locks placed by the gods and other entities. It is then that Gylndan realized that was the plan of the priests of Tiamat. Use a hand and eye of Vecna to travel to Yggdrasil and free Tiamat. Nasir, on the other hand, is going to use it to find his lost love, a former archmage named Johan. Using these documents, he managed to surmise that you could use Yggdrasil to travel to Tiamat's prison and face her, if you wanted to. But in order to do this, you would need a part of Yggdrasil, which you need to grab from the branch that connects to this plane. Where that is, you don't yet know. After that, Gylndan teleported back to Vengeance. Back in the Vengeance, you had a couple of days to relax, kick back, and get some down-planning. During this time, Felix identified the many magic items he had found in Rashat Clare. Kaiman created some new armor and impressed his god, and Oramis began the training of some of his most prominent crew, Mason and Frank. After 3 days, he managed to make it to Dawnport, and Felix left the group, soon finding out that Hercule had taken control of Dawnport, pretty much. He also found a large white dragon egg in the corpse of Arthur Thorn, which was taken north after a few days of study. Once back in the Shattered Coast, Oramis set to work putting his plans for the election in motion. After deceiving crowds using illusion magic and some silver-tongued words in bars and taverns, as well as gaining the aid of your crew and the crew of the Silk Arrow, captained by Lady Jane, you met with the Admiral upon your ship, the Vengeance, to discuss the upcoming election. The Admiral called you out for wanting an election rather than the traditional method of a duel to determine the Admiral's position, and then made threats to you concerning your previous patron Dolus, god of mischief and trickery. It seems Dolus told the Admiral of your thievery beneath the library of the dwarven city of Hawksmoor, and how he now threatens to expose you to the dwarves and the rest of Ambyr. And it's pretty much here where we pick up the session. Oramis, the Admiral, is just walking away off the docks and back up one of the ramps that lead to the sort of upper parts of the Shattered Coast, and you're sort of still stood here, possibly just thinking about your previous patron and the situation you're in. What exactly is your plan now? So, what is your plan? Not only now, but I guess from here on. Are you still going on with this election? Are you still planning on doing this, or have you somewhat had a change of heart?
Is he still within calling distance, the Admiral?
Yeah, he's, you've maybe taken like a brief moment. He's sort of, maybe like 60 feet away, just walking away from your thing. You can see that as he begins walking away, a couple of people, like who you just thought were like regular people on the street, begin following him back, and you realize that these people were actually like people he had within watching him. Watching to see if anything would happen. Not necessarily to interfere, they were 60 feet away after all, but, just there, and he sort of signals them to begin following him. What would you like to do?
I'm going to call after him. Admiral!
Yeah. He turns.
There's no need for hostilities. Name me your Vice Admiral, and let's put an end to this insanity. Nobody wants violence.
He takes a second. You can see, even in the low light of the night, like in the many sort of torches and lamps that light up the docks here, he gives a smile and scratches his beard. He calls back to you. Actually, no, he doesn't call back. He begins walking back. And as he does, he brings his sort of men with him, but they wait just off your ship. He steps foot back onto your ship and sort of walks to you. I am glad you've seen reason. But Vice Admiral, I mean, let's be fair, that's an insult to both of us. Neither of us really deserve to be vice anything, let's be fair. But I do have an idea. An idea I've thought about ever since one of my messengers has sent word from the capital. Apparently, you Guardians are now councilmen? Apparently I'm speaking to a councilman. I'm on the ship of a councilman.
This is news to Oramis, isn't it?
Yeah, this is pretty much news to Oramis.
Oh shit, Oramis, I forgot to say. I can verify that what the Admiral is saying is correct.
Nathan's got it behind you. Does that mean I'm a councilman now?
No, Nathan.
Damn it.
Back to your shadow.
It was only one council seat,
I feel
wasn't
like
it?
Yeah.
Between
One
the Guardians.
council, yeah,
We have a council.
we're like
acts
1/15th
as our
of
council seat.
1/15th
Wow.
of councilman.
Yeah.
At the minute, you're like 1/8. Because a lot of the council either died or were seen as traitors.
We take votes on what our seat would vote for in the wider vote.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Spend like 4 hours debating something, vote for that, it doesn't get passed. That's a fucking waste of time, wasn't it?
He says, "Oh well, I didn't realize you didn't know. Well, yes, congratulations. Apparently, you Guardians have been given a seat on the council. Very intriguing. Very intriguing. There is something I've been after from the council, from the king, for many, many years. Something every admiral of this place has been after ever since this place is ideation and creation. And now, with a councilman here, yes, we could work something out. I want from you to convince the council to recognize the Shattered Coast as an independent state. I want it written in proper writing, no magical voodoo, on its sign by every member of the current council and, if you can find him, the king. Because apparently he's gonna walkies a little bit, it seems. You get me that, you bring me here, you bring that here, and you can certainly be the Admiral. Of course, you have the position of Admiral. I'll be the damn monarch of this place. As an individual state, we'll be free from Ambyr's horrible import laws. That'll be a start. Then I can finally reach out to contacts I've been too afraid of doing. The king and country won't have any implications here, any sway over this place. We won't have to pay them bloody taxes or anything like that. Even though this is private land, so obviously I have to pay taxes to the wonderful young brat. And, well, I do like the name, the Monarch. One up from the Admiral, don't you think? Then you could be my Admiral. With that letter, Oramis, you will have regained my trust. You will be the Admiral. My General of the Seas. Leader of my fleets. Sail my fleets into battle. Against whomsoever we decide. We could have a council of our own. You wouldn't just have one place on this council. You would have, well, any
One place.
You wouldn't share one place, is what I mean.
I have a
This
question.
place. Yes, I don't believe I've ever got your name before, but sure.
While you're now part of Ambyr, surely you don't have to pay import and export, but if you became your own sovereign state, would you not have to pay to import to a foreign land? Would you then not find yourself potentially paying more taxes? Sorry, I'm from a foreign land. I know that ships are generally seem to be taxed quite heavily when they come and go.
Yes, on every import from the other continents, such as the Fracture and Titan, there is a levy we must pay, obviously, to the Crown. And I have many contacts throughout all of Ambyr, on almost every dock that stands here. I'm sure I could get past many of these imports and exports. No problem. In fact, I've been preparing for this such thing almost my whole life. I have, I guess you could call it a network, carefully placed throughout Ambyr, just in case a situation like this were to arise. But this is, of course, the great work of the Shattered Coast, to make it an independent and free place where people can live without the tyranny and the bureaucracy and the bullshit of whatever the hell's going on over in the West. So, Oramis, you deliver to me that letter, signed by every member of the council, and even the king, if you can get it. You can have the admiral position. Sure. And all previous discrepancies will be erased from the picture. Our secret will, of course, be safe. That is all.
I want one more thing from you.
What might that be?
Not only title of Admiral, but also First Sea Lord of the Shattered Coast.
Admiral and First Sea Lord.
Yeah, First Sea Lord.
Yeah.
Admiral Oramis.
You recognize, well, I guess the position of Lord would technically be Admiral, unless an Admiral was also a Lord, in which case, sure, whatever, titles are titles.
And comfortable accommodations.
Oh, well, of course, for a councilman of the Shattered Coast, I'm sure that could be arranged, certainly.
All right. Sounds good.
Fantastic.
Sorry, let me just type into YouTube the biggest U-turns 2023. See what comes. Oh shit, Oramis, you're top.
Oh boy.
Um,
Man's playing the long game.
Oramis, I'm not as a founding member of the Guardians, I don't want to
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me confirm.
ruffle some feathers here. No, but do you feel like you can still give your commitment to the Guardians as well as this endeavour? This sounds like a pretty full-time endeavour.
Oh, don't worry.
I wasn't talking to you, big man.
Mate, it's all
And I
lip.
don't fucking care who you were talking
It's
to.
all lip service.
It's all lit.
Titles can get you anything.
Alright, okay.
They don't mean anything, but they can get you everything.
I'm just, as a valued member of the Guardians Army, so I don't want you to not be available all of a sudden. We still have a job to finish after all.
And
You
that
will, of
is my
course, be able
priority.
to go out and save the world, yada, 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 whatever. For without this world, there is no shadow.
Sorry, sense of sarcasm there. Seem to recall us doing you a massive favour.
What
true.
favour was that?
Dragon Priest, Rashak, Silverhold, troubling
yes.
your people.
Oh, yes. Don't remember you asking for anything in return, though.
Oh, no, but a bit of fucking gratitude wouldn't go a long way.
Oh, I need that in writing before I'm going to give anyone my gratitude.
I don't think you should work for this man, Aramis, because he's an idiot.
I'm, of course, kidding, Mr. Wizard. You wizards are... You need to relax. There's a brothel down the street. I can get you a very good discount.
He's not into the goats.
I mean,
You don't know me.
with this place being its own state, I would need an archmage, and that archmage would be paid very, very well. Comfortable accommodations, any magical items you want from the more risky parts
Yeah,
of this world.
I'm sure he'll be very happy when he gets offered it.
I'm sure he will be. Yes. So,
Just for hear Griffin somewhere, just wakes up like, oh, I feel a job offer coming up.
so, Oramis, do we have a deal? And
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
opens out his hand. Excellent. He opens out his hand. Do you shake it?
I shake one-handed.
You shake one-handed.
What's the
Yeah.
other one doing?
Suck my sleeve.
How weird does that look?
It's up his sleeve like this, ready to do the Eldritch Blast.
Pew 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 pew. Cost haste. Pew pew pew.
Sleight of hand never was Oramis' specialty.
You say it, but I think he's got expertise in it.
Yeah.
But as you shake his hand, he does sort of like pull you in, like very, very quickly, just jostle you in very, very close. He says, "You fucked me on this, Oramis. We both know what'll happen."
Can I give him a little kiss on the cheek? And pull out.
Yeah.
Power move.
Yeah, you give him a little kiss, you give him a kiss on the cheek, and he turns very quickly and just gives you a peck on the lips.
You can't power move the power move.
I think you just did.
Like he sees you moving in and just, "Oh, Oramis, darling, well, before we get to any kind of relationship like that, we'll need to sort some things out. Anyway, I think this has been a most beneficial use of our time this evening. So the election is off. We can cancel the banners, cancel the flash. Maybe we can turn it into some kind of party, a unification. After all, we don't want people here on opposite sides starting some kind of civil war, burning the place to a crisp now, do we?
No, certainly not.
Absolutely. Well, I'll go tell everyone the deal. The election is off then. Good night, gentlemen. And, Oramis, I'm glad you can see sense. A very wise individual you are. Very wise captain.
I am incredibly wise.
Good night, everybody. And he sort of gives you a very, very low bow. So low it almost feels very sarcastic. And he begins to step off the ship. You're like, right. I mentioned a brothel earlier. Begins walking off. What would you like to do now? You are once again alone upon the Vengeance, all of you, and your crew. Your crew sort of, or what crew there is there, a lot of your crew have obviously gone into the city and doing their own things, but obviously about half your crew is still here on the Vengeance, and all of them are sort of stood by. I didn't understand that, did you?
Well, it's not it for me to cast judgment on what you've just agreed to, but from what I know of Ambyr, and I'm a man who respects your skills, I've seen them firsthand. I think this might be a stretch too far even for you.
Oh, I
There is no way they will want to relinquish the Shattered Coast.
You see, at this point, Oramis goes, I never intended to keep the deal.
Whoa, mind blown. Did not see that coming.
I do intend to, of sorts, improve the Shattered Coast.
Yeah.
Make it somewhat more hospitable for, the people of Ambyr. Not too much, because then I won't be able to profit, but just a little bit.
Oh, I think you do you. You do you. Right.
I do miss nights.
Does that God's sake. Does that wrap up your business here?
I need to recrew and mend my ship, and then we can be on our way.
Okay. I think we'll be teleporting to the capital. And well, I mean that benefits you.
I say to mend your ship and everything like that, you can get like you can bypass queues of repairmen and things like that repairing your ships easily enough with the gold you have. And yeah, to hire a new crew, that's easily enough as well. It's 5 gold per crew member. And say, what health is your ship on at the minute? Out of how much?
Let me just get it up real quick. It is 32 out of 60.
32 out of 60. So for the materials and the fixing and everything like that, it probably, let's say the next morning, if there is no other business for this evening, I would say the next morning you would have some of your crew wake up very, very early to go out and basically find the carpenters and things like that, and have them work with your own carpenter on your ship to essentially get a rush job on fixing your ship. And it would cost about sort of 300 gold for the moving up the line of ships that you've repaired, as well as having your ship, like a massive ship like yours, repaired. 30.
I just realised I don't need to recrew because we picked up those sailors from the prison.
You got 3 boats there, don't you?
I do need to recrew my other boat. Yes.
That's a way off there.
Bethany's Wrath needs recrewing.
Yeah, that's what, like 6 or 7 days away. If it went to,
but yeah, maybe if I leave that with Caspian, I can pay for it now. Give him
so yeah, Caspian. Well, that other crew is with them. They would need to be they're about sort of 3/4 crewed. It would take them, they move at half speed, so it'd take them almost like maybe 8-9 days to get to the Shattered Coast.
Oh, I'll just leave a message with Caspian to sort it out.
All right, you left him some money, right? Like from
I think I set aside like 300 gold for generic ship stuff.
Yeah, that'd be enough. Just knock off out of that. How much crew would he need? Knock off out of that, say 30 gold, and he can recrew.
Who's going to be your new captain, Oramis?
Well, this is a very interesting.
Cole?
Huh? Cole?
Yeah, Cole Palmer.
Oh, I see. Very good one. I actually did have a list of crew, and not that it matters at all. It's not Frank and Mason. I need them boys.
Need them boys, or need to keep an eye on them boys?
I can't trust them to be on their own. So, where is it? God's sake. Apologies, I thought I'd find this really good.
Not after they turned up with the Dragon's Revenge, was it? And they turned it into the cheating bastards.
It's cheating bastards.
Oh yeah, it's when you like click edit or something on the thing, you'll find it on your ship's thing. You'll find it.
Yeah, Ryan, if you're not aware, Oramis crossed to the Shattered Coast by land, and he left his crew to bring the ship around, and they ended up with getting the name the Cheating Bastards painted on it after they upset some people in a small town.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems about right. Wait, where's my microphone? Here's my microphone.
That's you to join us. Oh, I've got Didier, who's the dwarf. Or it could be Bonnie Cheng, who I named after 2 real female pirates.
We need a bit of female representation in your crew.
Exactly. Bonnie Cheng it is. She's a bit stabby. That's all I wrote next to her.
Yeah, she is. You.
Also, never come up before, but Bonnie Cheng.
Bonnie Cheng.
You've distinguished yourself in the recent combat, Bonnie Cheng, and everyone just goes, who?
Hey, look, I've also got Bo Kadir, who he's not come up much either.
That's true.
Here lies Bonnie Cheng. She was a bit stabby.
Good place to keep a sword.
Bonnie Cheng. Bonnie Cheng. What you from what you all might have heard. She has been on the crew. She has been very, very.
She has been.
She's been on all of the crew.
Yeah, she has been a very, very quiet individual. Not the most sort of outgoing person, but she definitely knows what she's sort of what she's doing. Very, very experienced individual. You're aware that she once was, and you sort of picked her up from her being a hired killer in a previous life, but she's now sort of. She says, in you hiring her, she said you wanted to sort of like calm things down and live a life on the seas, but
I'm a pirate instead.
Yeah, but every single time you've ended up in combat, like it's almost like a switch. And yeah, she just comes out with 2 daggers and starts absolutely stabbing. So, cool. Bonnie Cheng is your new captain of what's it called? The Ocean's Wrath.
Ocean's Wrath, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Bethany's Revenge.
Well, she's Bethany Ocean, so.
Yeah. So she sort of steps up to the mantle. If you want to knock off 10 gold for just like different things she'll need. For example, I'd say like the knock off 20 gold. That'll be for things like navigator's tools. That'll be for some very brief training for her to have amongst the other crew. That'll be for her restocking, things like that on this other ship. That'll be her hiring like a first mate or and maybe a quartermaster as well. And things like that. Just lots of sort of little things that she needs to sort of do to prepare. And also it seems as she sort of returns the next day, buying herself a very, very lavish, long, sort of like large coat with lots and lots of sort of embroidery of it, seemingly a little bit like scales, sort of all over the sort of like arms and back of the coat. And she's got these 2 very, very sort of prominent daggers and things. For sides, 2 clearly newly bought
I love
ones.
that. Captain, I need funds for my ship. Returns with new coat.
Returns with new coat and clearly very fancy daggers. If you knew any better, you'd think they were somewhat magical. But yes, that is Bonnie Cheng. Write down that she is the captain of this new crew. But there we are. So that would probably take up the sort of like next day. The next day you would have that sort of stuff going into gear. And by the end of the next day, your ship is fully repaired. Bonnie has sort of assembled her crew and made herself known amongst her crew as well as your crew and stuff like that. Crew restocked, ship restocked, everything like that. And yeah, you're ready for whatever adventures await you. So what exactly is the Guardian's plan now?
So is this the next day all this happened? So we had that meeting with the Admiral, and the next day Luke,
Yeah, so the meeting with the Admiral.
made Bonnie Cheng captain and so on and so forth.
If that's all sort of going on, can I buy just some generic but slightly better equipment for Frank and Mason?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I would say that, like, do you want them to have, like, magical stuff or just better stuff?
I'd like them to be a bit useful in combat.
Okay. Let me just look up. Let me just look up some armors and weapons and their prices.
So you've got Bonnie Cheng as captain of the new captain of the Ocean's Wrath, Caspian as captain of the Dragon's Revenge.
Yeah.
Then you're captain of the Vengeance, but Frank and Mason take over when you're not there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Frank. Is it Frank is your first mate and Mason is your quartermaster?
Yeah.
Cool. So, for your 2 boys, they are very dexterous. They are essentially like rogues. So you'll probably want to give them leather, studded leather, instead of the regular leather they carry. So that'll be 45 gold pieces for each of them. So that's 90 gold pieces for their armor. And for their weapons, they have like weapons that they're fairly accustomed to now, just like cutlasses. If you want them to be slightly more useful, you can either pay for them to be enchanted, or you can pay for them to be silvered. Enchanted means that they get like a +1 bonus. Silvered just means that they'll deal more damage to things. I'll say either way, just knock off 100 gold for them to have sort of services done so that their weapons can be a little bit of a more higher grade, and they can generally be, it's a little bit better. We won't sort of go through the intricacies of their stuff too much.
Cool. Well done.
So they're slightly better outfitted, and as well, they too sort of indulge in, maybe a little bit nicer outfits and stuff to make them stand out from the crowd. Oramis's crew is definitely looking a little perkier, a little more badass, certainly. Anything else while we're in the Shattered Coast? Any more purchasing? Any more anything? Or speaking to people or whatever before we teleport away?
Just ask Vyshal. So Ponsky's left us, isn't he?
Ponsky, yeah, he's gone. He's
okay.
Headed back to...
Just ask Vyshal, because he said he's part of a group, isn't he?
Yes.
I'll just sort of convey to him we won't roleplay it, but I'll just convey to him what our plans are and just say, are you still in contact with any of your people, or is there anything you can do to help us in? Because I feel like we're coming to the sort of final confrontation with.
He essentially says that with word of Bahamut being alive, with I know JJ, obviously you're meant to be RPing him here, but
this is DM knowledge stuff I don't know.
Yeah. So with word of Bahamut being alive, with everything that's been going on, he is probably going to be heading back to his people, so that he can sort of confer with them. And while he's back there, he can then get back into the view and yada yada yada. But he would like to see what this Tiamat says to you guys. He wants to know what's essentially happening from now. He probably won't come into the tower with you, but he might deliberate afterwards on what's happening so that he can then give that to his people, if that's allowed, if you would allow him to do that. And he can maybe see if they can help you out a little bit, maybe see what they can do, what information he can gather with his people, with his dragons, with the contacts that his people have. So yeah, he'll probably come with you to the tower, find out what's what, and then if you allow him to head back to his people and tell them of what he's been doing, what he's been up to, and how he might be able to help moving forward.
Can I ask him where his people are?
They are in. In the. I believe it was called the Shaded Valley in Titan. It is a desert valley in the land of Titan. Not all too far away from where a few runaway individuals had a few interesting encounters with certain things. But yeah, essentially in the deserts of Titan. There's a lot of mountains and things like that. There's a large valley. In that valley is an old temple to Bahamut, very, very old one, and that's where his people have taken up respite.
Oh, so how's he going to get back there?
Fly.
He's a dragon.
How long does it take him to fly?
Possibly a couple of weeks. Maybe. Well, yeah, either.
Okay. Does he have an item for where he's from? I'm just gonna teleport him.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has lots of items from where he's from.
Okay.
Or at least a couple.
Yeah,
sure.
I'll teleport him then, because then if he wants to help, the sooner he gets back, the better. So. Okay,
cool. So with teleport, if you have an item, does that immediately get you there, or does that
associated object is on target?
Is on target, right? So yeah, he pulls out to you this small little.
It says from within the last 6 months, but I guess if he's been there within the last 6 months.
Yeah, he's definitely been there within the last 6 months. Yeah, associated object on target. So he pulls out to you this small. He pulls out to you his holy symbol, actually. He's not really showed it off a lot. It's been sort of like tucked away in his pack. but he pulls out this small, very, very old, rusting platinum symbol of Bahamut, which is like a shield with a dragon's head upon it.
Is he not coming to... I thought this would be after he'd gone to the tower that Vaishal wanted to return.
The way he said it was, he wanted to go back, tell his people, and then he wanted to know what happened in the tower, not necessarily come in, and then he could find out how he could help us. But
well, he said he was gonna like not come in, but essentially wait outside for you guys to do your thing in the tower, and then you come out, tell him what's going on. He'll go home, tell people, "Hey, Bahamut's alive. Guardians are helping. They need your help. What can we do?" Then he'll get in touch with you as to how he can help and what they can do.
well, are we going straight to the tower? Because I can.
Are you going straight to the tower?
I can do multiple teleports now, so I could just take him back.
Yeah.
And then he's got a chance to catch his people up, and then we can go and pick him up or go and see him.
Yeah.
If I take something from their place, I can get that back there easily. So
he trusts that you guys know more about this situation than he does, so he will go with your plan. He's very excited at the prospect of seeing his people again. He's a little bit homesick, but
yeah, okay, I'll take him. I'll teleport him there.
All right. Yeah. So with a use of teleport, you take Vaishal. You only taking Vaishal, or is anyone else coming?
I'm just dropping him off. So
yeah, cool.
And then I'll let Oramis know. I'll drop him off. And I'll come back to the boat, and then we'll go to the capital. And it'll just be me, Oramis, Mazzy, and Kaiman, I think, won't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
cool.
Unless the lizard boy wants to stay in the goat fucking capital. I can't hear you.
That sounded like a yes.
Kaiman loves goats.
So, yeah.
Not after I know what they've done to him.
That's tainted meat.
Goat milk is an interesting commodity in the Shattered Coast. Anyway, so yes, you stand there with Vaishal. Vaishal sort of looks to you all before he leaves for at least a little bit. He comes up and gives you a big hug, Oramis. Whether you want to take it or not, he gives you a massive hug. And Mazzy as well. Sort of, him and Mazzy have been talking quite a bit. So yeah, he gives.
It's nice to see Mazzy talk.
And with a flash of magic, swirling energy spins all around you, and suddenly you are hit with a heat unlike anything you've felt in Amber. This hot, dry heat as you suddenly appear in this huge underground, well, I say underground, in the ground space, this large stone temple, dust everywhere. Above you, there is a sort of crack in the ceiling, revealing shafts of light that come down, up everywhere. There's a huge sort of stone statue that is crumbling and falling apart of a large draconic figure. There is stone sort of graving all over the walls, and right in front of you. So as you teleport with Vaishal, you appear in this space, and to your right, maybe like 30 feet away, is a dragon probably the size of Albus, absolutely the size of Rashak, a huge gold dragon, a dragon made of pure golden scales, stood before you. And maybe over to the left, there is a dragon made of silver scales, smaller, certainly about the size of Dazra, just sort of like sitting in the cool shade. You can see they're counting a few sort of gold pieces and flipping them off into a pile next to them. As they appear, both dragons immediately emerge to their feet and begin. You can see within the gold dragon this sort of like glowing hot embers begin growing in their throat, and within the silver dragon, this sort of like cold frost begins growing across their throat. But Vaishal just sort of goes, "Oh, it's me." He transforms into his bronze dragon form. Hello. I am back. Don't mind the wizard. He's my friend. Hello, Master Suriel. Maisha, where have you been? We have scryed upon you and you have resisted. Why? You didn't get my note? If your note was true, you went to Ambyr and broke every law our metallic dragon brotherhood holds. Why? Wizard, you dare cast a spell to leave this place and I will incinerate you in an instant.
Your member left to better the world, and in doing so found me and my friends. We are the Guardians. I don't know if you've heard of us.
Yes,
Statues in Inksworth. And no, I don't say.
Word has travelled even this far of Guardians in Ambyr. Though I confess I expected something else.
Probably like a rogue
There
warlock
for a
combination.
Vaishal, explain yourself. You have 30 seconds before I incinerate you too. All right. So I had a vision from Bahamut, like I told you. Yes, and I told you it was nonsense. Turns out it wasn't nonsense. There was a big black dragon in Ambyr. I went over there. I found the Guardians. I gave them a blade that killed dragon. You what? Yes, I know. Probably we should have kept that with us, but never mind. I gave them that blade, and we killed a white dragon, and then we went and killed a big black dragon that is working with Tiamat, the great five-headed dragon goddess that we've read about in the scriptures. And Glyndon, tell them what you told me about Bahamut and things. Both massive dragons look toward you, and you see another silver dragon appearing from a large corridor to the back. Saying, "What is going on here? An intruder? What is this?"
Oh, for goodness sake. Bahamut lives.
The room goes dead silent, other than the whistling of wind overhead. You will need to explain this to us in more detail before you leave. That is quite the accusation. We don't need to roleplay it, but if you want, unless there's anything you would like to hold back, you can explain to them everything you know.
I think I just emphasise the point that I'm a powerful divination wizard, and I've had lots of visions that have come true, and that was the vision I had.
And you are facing Tiamat.
Oh, sorry, someone's spraying some deodorant.
Sorry.
It's incredibly
Which one of you dragging spells? What was your question again, sorry?
And Baishal mentioned Tiamat. She is...
Our mortal enemy.
She is making a return.
Attempting to. And our aim is to stop it. We've killed all 4 of her dragon priests, so...
I'm assuming she is responsible for the demon that plagued Ambyr not a few months ago.
Yes.
Interesting. I would like to talk to you and your guardians further. We can certainly help each other on this matter.
Completely agreed. I must return to Ambyr, and we have a meeting of sorts with Tiamat, and I promise my friend Vaishal that I will report back what we find.
All right. Fine. You may leave. You have been interesting, and Vaishal is was one of our more trustworthy brothers in this brotherhood, so if he trusts you, then I will as well. But this is not over. As I said, I would like to speak to you more, but you seem in a rush. You may depart. Goodbye.
Can I take something that will help me get back here with a teleport, like a rock?
Yes, of course.
I was asking you, Ben. I did not ask like that. Can I take a rock?
Oh right, yeah. This place is surprisingly clean. There aren't many rocks around. I mean,
A grain of
you
sand.
still can just break something off at the side of one of the stone pieces, or I'm sure if you wandered around a little bit, you could find a small pile of rock that they've sort of swooped into the corner of this place, falling apart. Seems to be a small detail of part of what once was this massive sort of engraved tapestry on the side of the wall. Yeah, you can take that easily enough. A lot of them look all except for the gold dragon look very curious as to why you're doing this, and they almost want to move in what are you doing with parts of our temple? But the gold dragon is like, no. Goodbye, Gylndan. I will be in touch, and I hope to see you soon. Galafax, move away my meeting with the one of many names. He will be mad, but I'm sure he will understand. This takes precedence. Strange as he is. Anyway, goodbye, Gylndan.
Goodbye. And then I will use teleportation circles to get back to the vengeance.
Goodbye, Gylndan. Goodbye. Begins drawing.
I go around the corner.
I can't wizard if anyone's looking at me.
Yeah, and you begin sort of drawing in chalk, and you see Silriel, this huge head of this dragon.
What's his name, Ben? Sorry, Celio.
Silriel.
Silriel.
Riel is this huge gold dragon with this large, almost tendrils that make up what looks sort of like a beard, and then this large fin that sort of goes all the way down the bottom of his neck. And is these huge wings that very, very neatly sort of pull themselves back on his back to a very, very sleek sort of look. As you sort of turn the corner and begin drawing in chalk, you just see this massive head sort of just slightly peek around the corner, as he's obviously not going to let you just wander around a random corner in his lair. As you begin drawing the symbols of this teleportation circle, you draw the final piece, teleport back to the Vengeance.
Yeah, to the vengeance.
Teleport back to the Vengeance. Oramis and Co. You, after a little while, a little longer than you were somewhat expecting, maybe 20 minutes later, you hear this flash of our energy from within the Vengeance. What is your
So Vaishal wasn't lying, and he's friends. He's a Diddy dragon, which was slightly unnerving, but I think they could potentially fight on our side. Maybe Oramis, if you do a little negotiating. Actually, that's a terrible idea. Let's go to the capital.
Oh.
All right.
It would be my pleasure.
Is everything in hand here, Oramis? Are you happy with your ships?
Yep.
Kaiman, have you beaten enough people on arm wrestles and gathered enough metal?
Yeah.
Kaiman's 3k gold down. Doesn't want to talk about it.
I was just, sightseeing, didn't get up too much.
Yeah, Carmen. So if you remember, you have enough metal for a suit of armor. Could be, if you can obviously craft it well enough, that should be good. Another side thing that you'd like to do. Otherwise, you can teleport to the capital. Roll me a D100, please, Samwell.
Oh, I'm going to the Western Arms.
You're going to the Western Arms. Oh yes, you took a tankard.
He's got the keys.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've got the room.
Yeah.
You're a right little magpie.
Yeah.
Shiny.
Oh, sorry, I've just been accused of shiny from the main shiny culprit in our group.
Yeah. So yeah, you teleport back to the Western Arms. You teleport inside. It is a busy, bustling day. You can see that the front door has like a large sort of pane of glass on it. You can see that has been smashed in. Clearly, someone has obviously had to smash that in to open up the door. But yeah, that's happened. And as you appear, not Torvald, but his wife, a woman you've seen a few times. She's sort of like the main sort of maid around this place, and server of things. And as she appears, she just begins sort of walking up to you. Excuse me. I understand you are guardians of this place, and you've done a lot for this land. But that does not mean you can come teleporting in and out of places whenever you would like. We have many customers here. They are busy eating, and your magics can. Well, I don't really know if they can do anything. They probably can't, but it's very disturbing. And also, I think you have our keys.
Yes, I'll sheepishly hand over the keys. Sorry, honest mistake. Lots happening.
She snatches the keys away from you. My husband may look up to you, guardians, and think you're all that. And don't get me wrong, I think you're very impressive individuals. Someone needs to have the cojones to tell you all when you're wrong. And taking the keys to an establishment that has been nothing but good to you is, an interesting way of paying my husband back. He has toiled night and day to make this place a haven for you, guardians.
I'll just mutter under my breath. It was an honest mistake, and also I'm sure we generated a lot of business for you, but whatever.
Right. Anyway, gentlemen, drinks. Torvald, they're back. All right, yeah. And you hear the sound of drinks being poured and things being brought up to you. It's like late afternoon now, maybe 5-6 o'clock. So like 6 o'clock. So the sort of dinner rush is somewhat beginning, but drinks are handed to each of you.
I assume everyone is out. Yeah.
Yes. So
okay. In that case, can I just when we arrive, can I just send a sending to Doc and just say, in the capital with Oramis and co. Ready to ready to discuss future steps. Bring everyone else, please.
Yeah, cool. Send that message. At which point you hear a flank of a tankard behind you as Doc is sat in the corner.
In the middle of the afternoon, I think
drinking.
not.
Oh, yeah.
I was joking, of course. We won't go through it. Has Doc, Galahad, or Griffin been doing anything particularly interesting on this?
So Galahad's just been training up old Damo.
Been training up Damo. You have so many NPCs under your wing.
I love it.
Ridiculous.
This is Luke's fantasy.
Yeah.
Just be in charge of people.
Luke's fantasy is just to have people work for him.
Yeah.
Pay them so little.
I pay them very well as long as they put their life on the line.
Oh, fair enough.
Yes, you've been training up old Damo. That's fine. What about Doc and Griffin? Been up to anything interesting on this day, or just regular?
What day of the week is it?
Tuesday.
God, in Ambyr's sort of weeks, it would be the equivalent of Thursday.
You can drink on a Thursday.
You can drink on a Thursday.
That's what Griffin's up to.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably planning. Like, so he's been invited to go to a place just outside Hawksmoor to become Justicar for the Paladins of Tyr, hasn't he?
Yeah, that is the furthest.
That sounds posh.
It's far too posh for his blood. But
the northernmost mountain in the Hawksmoor Mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe he'd be a bit of time in between. like reading up about what Justicars have done before to have some idea of what this mantle he's accepting is before he blindly accepts it. And then also drinking.
Yeah, generally, make me just go ahead and make me a really quick history check for Griffin, just to see sort of.
Let me just dust the cobwebs off this character sheet. What did you say?
History check.
Ooh, guess what? He's not very good at these. Oh, that's okay.
14, yeah. So yeah, you're aware of a couple of, Justicars generally are like wandering paladins who enforce the law. They're not beholden to any one place, though they certainly can be. Some certainly have been sort of beholden to certain large cities and towns, some larger places like the capital. Like you remember, there was that Justicar who came out of Tyr's temple. You imagine he was the Justicar off the capital.
Yeah.
Certain large cities have a specific Justicar to oversee.
Oh, so there are multiple Justicars.
Law. Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's not lots of them. They are sort of like the Avengers of law, I guess you would say. They are the best of the best of Tyr's paladins.
I just wonder why that never sold as an idea, Ben. The Avengers of Law.
Granted, sort of think of them as the SWAT team. So if you've got the regular police and lawyers and things like that, Justicars are the SWAT team. They come in and they deal with the big, heavy shit of the law. They deal with more dangerous individuals. They're often called in to, like kings and lords and things will call Justicars in from cities and things, as well as to lead their guards or what have you. They're sort of like, I guess you could say like captain of the guard, but extra. And most of them wander around Ambyr, sort of solving problems where and when, and they're called wherever they're needed. Not just Ambyr, like all over the world, all over the plains. Many have gone to settle disputes in the elemental planes, in the Feywild, though that generally means that no one ever comes back. And in many other places, basically just ensuring that law is kept on a wider and stronger presence than your average guard or lawyer or judge, and where they need to be violent, they will be, as they are slightly better equipped than your average paladin of Tyr.
What, like Galahad?
Galahad is Sun God. Galahad is...
No, he's an average paladin.
I see. But technically, Galahad is to Pelor what you are going to become to Tyr.
Oh, a level playing field. And I've already been doing better than you.
I need to... Ben, we need to come up with a level up from Sun God.
Just rock up next session. Oh, Galahad is king.
I am the sun.
Luke's goal for every character is to get them into as high rank as possible. Apart from Nevada, who's just out smelling
He's
mustard.
just vibing with his bears.
Somewhere in the city, there's this like Tyrannosaurus Rex roar, and suddenly just nothing.
I mean, Luke represents Luke's personality. He's 2/3 focused on progression, and 1/3 doesn't give a flying fuck.
And
all in the imaginings.
And what about Doc? What do you think Doc has been doing?
So the capital has lost 2 of its main places of religious worship in the last sort of couple of weeks. The Temple of Apollo as well as the Temple of Pelor. So Doc would probably have been working with the various priests and things, with Daviak, who now has a seat on the council and stuff, probably occupying the Guardian's seat out of anyone else that's here. Out of like Galahad is brand new,
Yeah.
Griffin is Griffin, Balzanor is
He's an intelligent boy now.
now
Gone.
yeah, he may be intelligent, but morally grey.
I'll accept that.
All I would say about Galahad is he's new, but he's also very, very, very old.
He's new, like you've given a broken pair of shoes to someone who hasn't owned them before.
Yeah. Like Galahad I feel like needs a bit of time to find his feet before he starts any sort of governance.
Only in the modern era. He's governed before.
Yeah, that's why he needs to find his feet in this era before he has.
God, these young people, I just don't understand their references.
Yes, so Doc probably working.
Someone came and said we YOLO this morning.
So yeah, Doc would probably be occupying that council seat for the time being, working with Daviak and things like that to try and bring some semblance of order to religious practices and organize the things that need to be organized for, in terms of like repairing those temples alongside the other buildings and stuff like that. Would I be right in saying that Freya is the sort of like, alongside Pelor, is pretty much the sort of second major deity of Ambyr?
Oh, well remembered, sir. Yes, Freya is Pelor's wife, goddess of love, knowledge, the moon, lots of different things. Yes.
So she would presumably have the potentially second largest temple within the city. And so sort of working with that to...
well, the second most important, not necessarily the second largest. The second largest would be Tiers 1, because that's also technically the courthouse. But, certainly the second most important, and that's probably where a lot of religious practice would go.
Yeah, probably just trying to organise that and doing like menial stuff like coming up with a rota of service. 10 till 11. Pelor. Oh, fucking hell.
Oh my god, what a clusterfuck.
What the fuck happened here?
When did that
I don't know.
I think that happened right about the time Luke was so desperate to play Oramis again.
It's difficult being a very serious character.
So Ryan, this is the capital. And as you all teleport in, you are teleporting in with a massive crocodile-looking man. So everyone immediately gets fucking freaked the fuck out. Except for Torvald and his wife, seemingly, who both just say, "Hey, he's just a lizardfolk. Shut the fuck up."
He's with the wizard. We had a minotaur before. It's probably fine.
Yeah. They've seen weirder shit around here. Yes, Ryan, this is the capital. You are currently somewhere down here in the Westland Tavern. This place doesn't exist anymore because it got blown up by a meteor. This place slightly exists because it didn't get blown up by a meteor. And this place also doesn't exist anymore because it got blown up by a meteor. What are you two doing?
This is Griffin taking Galahad in the rear.
Hold on, I know how to sort this out.
Is it in yet?
There you go, lads.
So whatever
Have at it.
drew that picture of Galahad.
Rollies for the top spot. You go first.
Yeah, alright.
Just roll a d20.
Oh!
I'll roll again.
Roll off.
We're actually playing. You know what? I'm intrigued.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Still going there. Okay.
This is what this D&D game has come down to today. Why have you done this to me, JJ?
What fucking square is that in? Right, Louis.
The game's over.
A good spa, sir. A good spa.
They're both as good as
And
each
with
other.
And with that thrilling match,
Welcome to the capital, Carmen.
Next time I won't jewel you with my left hand.
Oh, next time I won't chill you with my cock. Do you remember in the last arc when you had to lose the duel and you played it so well, you it was so reluctant. Oh, I'm just not sure I would lose to this man.
Anyway, you're now in the capital. What do you want to do? I'll say that easily enough with a couple. Mark off a few third level spell slots to gather everybody, and you're all within the hour. It's about maybe 6:30, 7 now. You are met within the Westland Tavern. You've all been brought food. Very, very lovely plate of food. What would you like to do?
Who have we got here? We've got Doc, Griffin, Galahad.
Doc, Griffin,
Geary?
Galahad, Geary and stuff. No, they're not here. I mean, they are in the capital if you want to summon them as well.
Yeah, I think we summoned all the Guardians.
Oh, okay, summoning all the Guardians. Right. All right. So, Doc, Griffin, Galahad. Geary is summoned. Geary was helping Daviak. Geary has basically, at this moment, become Daviak's right-hand woman. Because, Daviak clearly isn't up for this job. And, he is clearly up for it. He's, managed people before. There's a lot of bureaucracy here, and he needs someone to still keep an eye on the actual soldiers. So that's what Geary's probably been doing. What has Nevada been doing, Luke? What do you think Nevada's been doing after the chaos of an attack on the capital?
Just vibing.
Just vibing.
A little bit of fishing. Maybe a little bit of communing with the animals, seeing what's going on outside of the capital.
Yeah.
I have 12 guardians marked down as present. Is that right for everyone else?
Is that including the
Griffin, Gylndan, Geary, Doc, Galahad, Oramis.
Each of you are 3 characters.
Yeah, 2 judges on here though, aren't they?
That is true.
Alright, I have Doc,
So that would
Griffin,
be-
Glyndon, Mazzy, Geary, Daviak, Nevado, Oramis, Kaiman, Galahad, Damo, Nathan.
Oh yeah, Nathan's here.
Yes.
Fair.
12. You are all like an extra table. Torvald kicked a group out, essentially, to grab their table to screech and move it over.
Torvald is too
your
nice
massive-
to us, and we don't pay him enough.
You know,
How much business does he have because we're here?
Yeah, exactly.
Saying I feel bad, he's kicking
I
people out.
don't see a penny of that.
Although probably looks over the table
Because
at
he
the
can afford
speed
to,
and volume
JJ.
with which
We've done
Kaiman
so.
is eating.
He's done so well out of us. We've not asked him for a damn penny, and you're
We're-
getting annoyed that he's putting some people out of the door for us.
We're free marketing for him.
Yeah, we come here once a month,
you basically
ask for a table and a couple of drinks.
you guys, essentially what happened was, Ryan, for your thing as well, they went there maybe twice in the span of a week, but they were very famous. They're very famous. So lots of people started coming in, being like, "Is this the place the Guardians eat?" To which point he said, "Oh yeah, this is the booth they sat in." He got a red velvet rope and put up a plaque saying "the Guardians booth," and basically started get that this is the Guardians regular. They basically live here. This is the place the Guardians hang out. Come hang out like a Guardian at the Westland Tavern. And yeah, now it's very busy. But yes, 12 people. You have 12 characters. For the first time in about 2 months, all convene in this large, in this space. All sat around the table. Food is slowly being distributed out as more of you arrive. But drinks are certainly handy and able. You can see Daviak and Mazzy sort of reacquainting themselves and hanging out and being all brotherly.
Griffin just points at Oramis with his axe and just said, "All right, shithead." No witty come back.
I don't remember you.
I cut a dragon priest in half while you were gone. What have you done?
I killed the dragon.
Yeah, Gylndan just touches that. Tell him about the dragon.
I killed the dragon. What was the other thing called?
The
What-
beholder.
Oh yeah, beholder as well. Literally
Well-
at the same time.
I don't even know what that is. So
Well, imagine something that beholds thing. I unheld it.
oh, nice. Hey, that's not the thing that looks like a ball sack, is it? You slayed a ball sack.
So you better watch it, otherwise
Okay.
I'll slay you, you bull
I
sack.
see you're in the business of slaying ball sacks, so I'm sure plenty of people would be interested, Oramis.
You can see Daviak just sort of sat here, and he's like, as much as I love this pissing contest, does someone want to introduce us to the crocodile?
Yes, this is Kaiman. We met him. He was taken captive by the Silverhold cult people, the ex-prisoners. Cult of the Black Prophet, that was it. He made this nice armor that Oramis is now wearing.
But you can't believe he was
Right.
so lucky to get, by the way.
And he is interesting.
Kaiman.
Use small words and maybe give it a bit of time in between sentences to make sure everything's sunk in. But he's great in battle.
All of you guys friends?
Sort of.
Yes.
Business associates probably is the best.
So,
Thumbs up for everyone.
Ryan, a very basic and quick thing to fill you in. So, Griffin is a paladin wearing lots of armor. So is Galahad as well. Giri is basically like a samurai person with a sort of mask over her face. Nevedo is a human druid. Daviak is
A snake.
Daviak is Mazzy's twin brother, except he has a large brand of a hand on his face, like a large sort of burned hand on the side of his face. I'm forgetting people. Damien is a tiefling man who is Galahad's sidekick. And
He's my squire.
I'm missing one.
He's a fucking badass, is what
He
Damien
is
is.
pretty balanced.
No, I think I've pretty much got everybody.
Doc?
Oh, yeah, sorry. And Doc. Doc is
Didn't see you there,
Doc
little
is
man.
Doc is a dwarf, lots of heavy armor, big hammer. Looks sort of like a doctor.
Lot of angst. Awful lot of angst.
Oh yeah, and he's got this like scar on his cheek, like this like brand scar on his cheek.
He's a bit touchy about it.
So yes, they all gather, and Daviak sort of says, "Well, Kaiman, let me be the first to welcome you into this merry band of freaks. I guess this is all the Guardians. Nice. I've heard of your kind and your people, though I confess the last time I heard of them, I was on the other end of swords with them. But that was a very, very long time ago, and I was a bit of an asshole back then. So, welcome is all I'm trying to say.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm just happy to be invited. Right. So I guess if everybody's here,
Yeah, so we'll get down to business.
and that business is
Well, so I gather from Moraine that you and my friend Dockermere, I don't know why I said like none of you know, and Dockermere, that you defeated a dragon priest here.
Yes.
yeah. Took a couple of meteors and
half
hordes
the
of
city.
undead, but we did it. Yeah, a lot of the rest in peace to a lot of brave women. But yes, we managed to defeat this Queen Yara. Well, you guys did. I was off being a general.
Okay, well, we've defeated Rashak, the Black Dragon. So, by my counting, that's 4 Dragon Priests down.
What does that mean?
When we
then,
defeated,
if we have no more
well, we
dragon
defeated
priests?
Rashak, and we got a message from Tiamat, as we have before, Doc,
Yes.
when we've defeated a Dragon Priest, and she requested our presence at the tower soon. She has something to discuss with us. I'm not completely convinced it's not a trap, but I don't know, maybe she's desperate now because we have taken down 4 of her disciples.
I was gonna say the same thing. That definitely sounds like a trap.
Well, the one thing that's always stood out to me is we don't... I mean, for the longest time now, we've kind of been chasing one priest to another, and I'm not really sure how any of this, maybe you have a better idea, how any of this links back to her. If we've defeated these priests, then does that not limit her power and prevent her return? Is there anything more to be done?
Well, from what I discovered from reading through, we encountered a wizard when we fought Rashak, and his goal was to, which I believe was also the goal of this dragon priest, was to find a branch of Yggdrasil, which would be a way to access Tiamat and set her free. So, as far as I'm aware, she's still trapped in her plane. But is there any assurance that we've stopped everyone who's working with her? I don't think so. But so I'm keen to see what she wants to say, because I think we sort of have her trapped.
And also now, now people know her name. You said there were cultists of her. There was some of even the councilmen here were mentioning her name. There was cultists of her here. Generally, once a being like that has some followers, I don't know how the gods work, but from my limited knowledge, prayer and faith are ways of giving beings power. After a while, surely all that power's got to add up. And if she's being given prayer, if she gets given, I don't know, offerings, gold maybe, that can all add to her power. I guess something's in motion now, and unless we take care of every single individual, which I doubt we could ever do,
It's unlikely to work.
we're never going to get the end of it.
The harder you try and prevent people from a thing, the harder they'll cling to something like faith.
Exactly. So my worry is that, it might not be now, might not even be in our lifetimes, but someday someone's going to, with her name back out there now, someday someone's going to do something big. If that is, she doesn't want us here to, do something else, or, I don't know, she was a god, surely she might have another, maybe this was her other plan, to get her name out there, so that hopefully someone one day would figure out a way to get her out. As I say, it might not be now, maybe not in 10, 100 years, but someday something might happen.
But they know what they're looking for as well, so it's a case of, at some point, you're right, they probably will find a way to find it. This time they tried through the eye of Vecna, because Vecna was the last person to be involved with Yggdrasil, or have knowledge of it, but I'm sure there's other ways of finding out. There's always knowledge somewhere.
Exactly.
So what are we now?
And who knows?
Are we... Is this where we're setting our sights? God killers. I know Oramis calls himself that, but loss was hardly in the realms of that power.
I think potentially we are considering being god killers, yes. I was very lucky to meet with a group of various coloured dragons this morning who are followers of Bahamut, and I'll go to speak to them after we visited the tower, but I believe they could fight on our side, which would be a huge plus.
Also, does anyone know where Balzanor is?
Who?
Oh, yeah, I don't think you properly met him, but he was a Minotaur, he helped in the north, and he also helped kill Queen Yana.
No, I did meet him, I'm fucking...
Oh, right, sorry.
If that's Daviak speaking, then
yes,
we definitely would have told Daviak what happened.
Yes, yes, definitely. I mean, yeah, he would have inquired immensely about what happened. So he just had to does anyone know any more? Anyone heard any more of what happened to Balzanor? Where he is, if we get him back?
I believe it would be possible to.
I mean, my crew, when we stopped at the Shattered Coast, were talking about some flaming hot cow, but I'm not sure if.
Can we go to a break, please?
Between everything we've been doing, Daviak, I've been doing a little bit of research where I can. I believe it's possible if we could find a way to bring him to us. I know I spoke to Gylndan as well, and he said there are ways of summoning people to you or opening gateways to them. If we could do this and open a gateway to him and pull him through or bring him through somehow, I think we could remove the spirit inside him. What happens then, whether this spirit is destroyed, whether it returns to where it came from, then that's another matter. It could end up with a fight on our hands once we remove the spirit from within him, but if we could we could have Balzanor back.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. I mean, dark individuals have been summoning demons and devils and things all the time. Well, I say all the time. Obviously, it takes a lot of sacrifices and horrible dark magics. But, I mean, I'm sure we can find a way to do something like that, sure. Otherwise, I'm not entirely sure what we can do. But that's something we can figure out.
Well, we have another avenue as well. Do you remember I told you that we were summoned to see the Raven Queen?
Yes.
And Galahad, Griffin, and I travelled to the Shadowfell, and she told us, Gylndan, do you remember what we learned about Godsbane back in Hawksmoor?
Angrily consults notes.
Well, she told us that Godsbane was split. She has one piece, and another piece was given to an archfey called Killian the Smiler.
Killian the Shifter.
Killian the Shifter, fuck! Killian the Shifter, who lives in the Singing Valley in the Feywild. If you visit there,
Shit, yes, I do remember that.
persuade Killian to give us this portion of the blade and return both pieces to her. With a powerful blacksmith, the blade could be reforged. And that seems like it would be a pathway.
Simon!
It's almost like it was fate.
I don't know if she said this, but I said we must go. About killing the shifter. We must go and tell him to give us the blade. We can kill him if he doesn't give it back.
I don't think she said that, but I don't.
No, I've just made that up. I think.
I think
Yeah,
it
she
was.
definitely didn't say it.
I think it was.
I've decided that we can kill him.
I think it was like implied that it was up to us how we got it back.
Yeah.
Well, there's my vote.
She essentially just said, he has it, and he listens to me. Go to him and tell him I'm telling... Like, go to him and basically say, the Raven Queen wants the piece of thing back, and he'll give it to you, because he works for him.
Yeah, because Jock has a small raven figurine of power to show him as a symbol of trust us. We're telling you, trust us. We're legit.
Yeah,
we're legit, bro. Okay, right. So there's a lot of options on the table.
I mean,
I would say
it seems like there's almost like 3 avenues on the table, potentially.
Well, I count 4.
I mean, you've got the Tiamat thing, obviously.
Yeah,
Good.
And then Griffin will pipe up and be like, I need to head to Hawksmoor. I don't know why I'm deepening my voice. I need to head to Hawksmoor.
It's almost as if characters with deeper voice are more impressive paladins.
That is a good point.
No, it's not a good point. It's actually a common misconception. I believe young Dolgrimir is coming with me also to Hawksmoor.
Yes, I have.
And then Gylndan will look at Doc and go, "Why the fuck are you going back to Hawksmoor?"
I have Ivan before he passed away. Wrote 2 letters, and they were passed on to me with instructions to return to Hawksmoor and present these letters, which I intend to do.
Specifically you?
Yes, specifically me.
Okay. Well, cannot ignore a dying man's wish.
No, so
But maybe some sort of disguise might be beneficial to you.
I think, given the context of the letters, that will not be necessary. I think returning disguised would diminish his words within them.
I understand your meaning.
So technically, actually, I count 5 avenues.
Okay.
Lots of them.
Someone's gonna have to. I count 3.
Well,
4.
Tiamat.
Tiamat.
Tiamat 1. Godsbane 2. Balzanor 3. Little trip to Hawksmoor 4. And then Griffin's got to do a little dart out on the way to Hawksmoor.
Oh, okay, I was counting Hawksmoor as 1.
I think it is 1, really.
You're also aware that if you want to get to Yggdrasil, you need to find the branch of Yggdrasil and take a piece of it that will act as a plane shifting thing.
Okay.
So if that is the avenue that you're going through, that would be potentially another...
I say we take a break and we all think about where we want our characters to go and come back and have an amazing plan.
I was going to say exactly the same thing, funnily enough. Why don't we take a quick break? You guys have a think where you would like your characters to go right now. Who would like to go to, Tiamat's thing? Who would like to go to, potentially Balzanor and things like that? Only stipulation I'll say is, particularly for the Balzanor and Feywild things, if you could just have one of your characters go, because otherwise that fucks with so much balancing and all sorts of... Even though, realistically, you would probably just get the whole group to go and sort it out.
Now, what a time limit got to send 1 to each one. Can you imagine if we rocked up with this party of 12 to every encounter?
Yes, it that is one of those things where it's like, I'm happy for you guys to have many characters, but I'm not happy for them all to be present at certain situations because that just diminishes.
Ben, at that point, you just bring out the Tarask and be like, well, if you want to play silly games,
Yeah.
Play
is your
stupid games,
punishment.
win stupid prizes.
Exactly.
Well done, your prize.
Yeah.
The Tarrasque.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah. So, particularly for those 2 arcs, for those 2, missions, I would say, yeah, maybe think of individuals, but for the others, I really don't mind. Maybe for the Hawksmoor one as well, maybe just think about what characters would feasibly know Doc and Griffin and want to travel with them that far. But otherwise, yeah, I'll see you guys in like 5 minutes, like 9:30. And we'll come back and have a discussion about it. So, after you've so you all spend some time, obviously, everyone sort of discusses the different, essentially you've all shared your knowledge now. I will say that all the characters are as caught up as people want them to be, and however much detail, is anyone, I would say, just basically enough, is anyone holding any information about what you've learned over the past several arcs back?
Well, there's certain things that Oramis is holding back.
Well, yes, of course. I mean, in terms of the main story, in terms of Tiamat and the priests and your next plans, is anyone holding any information like that back, or is everyone just being open and forthright?
I think so. Although slightly off topic, I like to imagine as soon as Oramis walks in or Doc walks into the bar, Doc just kind of goes and looks at Oramis, smelling the necromancy.
Oramis is just like, new deodorant, new hair gel.
I got a lot of that dragon on me. It's still I'm still smelling it on my sheets on the ship.
The dragon. Ryan, are you going to make any more characters, do you think, or is Kaiman going to come on all of these adventures?
Teleport.
I think. I mean, I always love to just have different characters, but it would be just funnier that Kaiman's just always there.
I do love the headcanon that Kaiman just sort of shows up in everywhere. So yeah, Ryan, that's entirely up to you. I'm sure we can, between me and you, we can figure out ways of Kaiman showing up, or we can figure out ways of introducing a new character if you would like to play one. But for a fairly new player at quite a high level, I'd probably say it's much easier if you stick with Kaiman for a minute, and we can then give Kaiman a bit more of a building and sort of build him up in terms of magic items and abilities, and you could really learn how to play a cleric. There's a lot of high-level stuff you haven't really tapped into yet that makes things really interesting. So that's entirely up to you. So for the purposes of all this, we say that all your characters are caught up. As a meta point, as a sort of meta game point, your characters wouldn't know, but I'm going to tell you because I feel like it might smooth some of this through. And I think I've told it to some of you, I don't think I've mentioned it in the actual game, is that speaking to Tiamat will essentially give you the timeline for the end of the campaign. It will give you the timeline for how long you have to complete XYZ before certain things happen and endgame happens, and
we got to do Infinity War before we get to endgame.
Yeah.
So we go to talk to Tiamat, and Ben's like, "You're all level 20."
Obviously, during
we're level 15, and Ben says there's 5 arcs here, so.
And obviously, during that time that you'll have things like downtime, where, I'll say it now so that you have plenty of time to think it up. But obviously, in this coming period of downtime, where you guys have lots of missions and not really a lot of time constraint, other than speaking to Tiamat, that will be the last opportunity for your characters to do whatever you think they would like to do, whatever you would like to do with them, whatever goals they have, little missions they would like to go on, people they'd like to speak to, items they'd like to buy, yada yada yada, whatever you guys want to do with them before we end the campaign, pretty much. It's crazy, we're talking about ending the campaign after all this time. It's pretty sad.
So if we take the tower off the table, then it's Godsbane, Hawksmoor, and Balzanor. But Hawksmoor isn't really. Doesn't seem like it's going to be much of an arc, really. Like it will just be Griffin becoming Juicecar and then Doc.
I will tell you now, Hawksmoor will not. If Hawksmoor is done right and we were efficient, it could be done in a session.
Okay, so Hawksmoor's not really an arc, so that might just be Griffin and Doc going on a little adventure.
It's important character moments. Don't get me wrong. It's important, and I would like to play through it in session, but it's not necessarily the most. Maybe like a session and a half, 2 sessions, just with how quickly we get through things. But yeah, it's not. I wouldn't necessarily call it an arc per se.
Okay.
So, what I'm thinking is, given the 5 things that Ben's listed, we've got Tiamat, Hawksmoor, Balzanor, the Feywild, and the Branch of Yggdrasil. I feel like you can, cut those into 3. So you've got Tiamat, and then Hawksmoor can be like one thing, and then Balzanor is another thing, and then
Hawksmoor's got a very extensive library, doesn't it?
it does.
It has a decent library.
Is it better than the capitals?
No, Capitals is the best in pretty much all the land.
Okay.
All of Amber, as far as you're aware.
Yeah, you're right. Right then, Jojo. I think Yggdrasil and Hawksmoor could be bunged together.
Also, if you remember, Moraine said that through some divination practices, he could try and help you figure out where the Branch of Yggdrasil might be.
Yeah.
We kind of just need to decide who's going where, really.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
think. I mean, it feels poetic that OG group plus Kaiman goes and speaks to Tiamat.
Yeah.
Doc would like OG group to come with him to Hawksmoor, seeing as they're like his oldest friends in this, and it's quite an important thing for him. I know that would mean sending Griffin and Gylndan to Hawksmoor, but seeing as that's not necessarily like a combat thing.
Also, Griffin could dart off and then.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We could like
I mean,
do
We have
Griffin's.
fast travel options, really. So.
We could do Griffin
Griffin's
on
thing,
the
because
way.
it's in Hawks Mountains, Griffin's thing is like 2 to 3 days walk away. And that's just getting to the base of the mountain. He's then got to walk up.
Okay,
yeah.
so Tower will be Glyndon, Oramis, Doc, Mazzy, Kaiman. Hawksmoor will be Doc, Oramis, Mazzy,
So Tower will be
Glyndon, and Kaiman.
yeah. So Tower.
So
I
that's
think
two,
I
that's,
feel like
they're
Tower
both the
and-
same. Hawksmoor and Tower are the same.
Yeah,
same,
the
aren't they?
Hawksmoor and Tower are basically the same group, maybe with Griffin going direct and being met up with along the way, or something like that. And then I feel like Doc is...
Yggdrasil can just be background work for Glyndon and anyone else who wants to get involved.
Yeah.
What was that, sorry?
Yggdrasil, to just find locating the branch, because that's an arc once we have it.
I mean...
But that also might be... I think it's to do with the end game, really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna. If that is the route you'd like to pursue, and I'm not necessarily saying that is the, you guys are more than welcome to try and think up your own ways of getting there. That's just the one I figured as a DM I should provide. But if that is the route you're going with, then yes, you will need to go get it before you can simply get to the end.
I mean, in terms of other avenues and what we know that Tiamat is locked in her own plane. With Glyndon's notes from Nasir, it's theorized that if you can access Yggdrasil directly, you can access any plane at will.
Yeah.
So we could access...
Well, she's locked in her own level of hell, which is, I guess, a kind of subplane of the overall plane of hell. But yes, continue.
So, an alternative way I would know through planar magic of getting there is if you have something attuned to that space, you can go directly. So if we could find out information about who created this thing and if it has any sort of jailers or keepers or anything like that, we could negotiate with them for access.
Have we not had that?
Yeah, it is then, Doc. You remember that? Thinking back to the story. Oh yeah, Mars and the god Pelor locked Tiamat away. They went bad, Tiamat. You're causing trouble in hell now. You were causing trouble in heaven before. Now you're causing trouble in hell. We're going to lock you in your own plane of hell.
Okay.
So they locked her in there. Them and Eberos, god of death and lord of the nine hells.
Yes.
Mars and who else put her away? Sorry.
Mars, Pelor, and Eberros. Eberros created it. Pelor and Mars locked her in it.
Is Eberros that guy that offered his services to you?
Yes.
Okay.
God of Death.
Doc turned him down.
Okay, so OG group has come into the tower, as well as OG group. So I reckon they do Hawksmoor first and then go to the tower. Godsbane, I've got Griffin and Galahad, because they both found out about it.
Yeah.
And then maybe they can have an arm wrestle to see who actually wields the sword. And then obviously, JJ, all your characters have either shagging their wife that they haven't seen for a while, or
Well, yeah.
coming to terms with their new identity.
The thing I would say from a, us playing a game perspective there is you could either decide to bring Felix in back for one of these arcs, or you did quite coincidentally create a fey creature as one of your other characters. Everybody's favorite, everyone's favorite centaur.
Everyone's favorite raging barbarian centaur.
And also, you do have Mittens wandering the multiverse somewhere.
The multiverse, wow.
What was that?
Didn't realize it got that deep.
What was that
What
guy
was the one
called?
called?
That was Chiron, the centaur.
Oh, we can't have Kaiman and Chiron. So they could meet up with Chiron to go get Godsbane, and then obviously work Ryan into that somehow. And then Balzanor, I put Giri and Nevada because they're his friends, obviously.
Daviak would probably want to come in on that, but that's just an NPC perspective.
Yeah. And then again, don't know who you go from you, JJ. And then I assume Carmen would go. Carmen's going to find some dark magic to split his soul or something like that.
Probably for that
Ryan,
one.
we could talk about that point. That'd be interesting.
For Balzanor, if Doc is on Tiamat, Hawksmoor, return to capital, he could also be involved in Balzanor after that, because he's sort of got he's got clerical powers to help fix that problem.
You do need a cleric to essentially be an exorcist.
Yeah, and then probably in that case Felix to the Feywild.
What, instead of Chiron? It does seem a bit mean. Send Felix back with his family to then call him up again 2 days later.
Well, yeah. What I'm thinking is maybe this takes, if we do the Hawksmoor stuff, Tiamat, Hawksmoor, and then Balzanor, sort of as an arc first. Because Felix was willing to be involved again, he just wanted some downtime.
Yeah. Also, realistically, if Griffin is going to do his stuff in Hawksmoor, that's going to be a couple of days. In fact, well, a bit longer than a couple of days, because obviously he's got to go to Hawksmoor and do all that shiznit.
Yeah, and also you guys already spent almost a week getting to and being in the Shattered Coast and stuff like that.
Good point.
So
yeah.
From a character perspective, then he just wanted some downtime with his family, but from a player's perspective, then obviously I want to bring him back in and play him. And him going with Griffin, seeing as they had a connection before, seems like a good way in. If Griffin's so I'm going to this weird place full of weird magic, and I want a wizard with me.
Yeah, could be fun.
I don't want a wizard with me. I just want some better company than this.
Galahad.
Mummified paladin, yeah. This 990-year-old twat.
Fuck you, mate.
Maybe we don't send Griffin and Galahad on the same arc.
You'll only end well.
Actually, if we send Griffin, Galahad, and Felix, and then Felix gets time to get all of his stuff up and whatever, that is a very unhittable group of people.
Yeah.
That is not only a very unhittable group of people, they also hit like trucks.
Yeah.
Again, it's two paladins. Ben just puts a naught on the end of every enemy's hit points when there's paladins around.
All he's got to do is find an enemy that can keep a little bit of distance, and then we're screwed.
Yeah, that's true.
Speak for yourself. Griffin's got some range.
I got
As
threatened.
does Felix. Yeah. Well, you hang back then, you old fart, and then we'll deal with it. Okie dokie. Right. So I think, for the sake of pushing on with this session, it sounds like we're going to do the tower, and then Godsbane will fit in at some point. So it'll go Tower, Hawksmoor, and then probably Balzanor.
Yeah.
But then maybe there'll be a bit of a split for Balzanor, like Doc will go off to Balzanor, but he'll go with like Giri and Nevado maybe.
Yeah, I think.
While maybe Oramis goes to Shadow Coast, I don't know, or Glyndon does something. But
Oramis gets to work trying to convince the council.
Oh god, yeah.
Oramis temporarily takes up the council seat trying to convince them about the Shattered Coast, and Glyndon dives into research about Yggdrasil, and Balzanor happens. Then Feywild branch happens, and while that's going on, Glyndon can maybe like complete his research.
Yeah. However, you guys wanna play it, we can do that. But for the sake of expediency, so yeah, we can work all that stuff out. But really, so what I want to know is, so yeah, you guys have all talked your stuff out. You've made lots and lots of plans. I'd say, for real people talking all this stuff out and making jokes and all that stuff, this would make me take a couple of hours of them just speaking, chatting. It's now maybe like 8 o'clock in the evening. It's kind of getting kind of dark outside. What is your plans right now, and sort of for the next day? Daviak does have one important point of note that he says he wants to bring up when you guys are done. But what are your plans now?
What time? So we've had this meeting. Is it late now, or?
Yeah, it's like 8 o'clock in the evening. Getting dark outside. Sun's certainly setting out on the sea.
I'd probably go and find who's like in charge of the college reconstruction effort, but that's once Daviak's listening.
Yeah, Daviak. So you've all sort of discussed, and everything's sort of beginning to acquire, and Daviak says, and now for one more little bit of small measure. So obviously a lot's been going on in the capital, and there's been some crazy stuff going on here, and clearly the country is in need of funds. And there's a lot of rich folks out there who really like you guys and really like to play about you guys. I drew the short straw on this for the council to ask, but the council want to set up a charity event where the play of the Guardians and Lone Hill will run one more time. The biggest lords and ladies, the most famed ones, the richest people will be there. The tickets will cost a bomb, and all the money will go towards the reconstruction effort of the capital. And they're asking if the Guardians, the original Guardians, can find some time to be there.
Certainly.
What, perform in the show?
Please say no, please say no, please say no, please say no.
They just said to be there.
Oh, thank God.
Obviously, they already have actors and actresses and things. I've heard there's a number of musical numbers, which you'll be probably thanking God that you're not involved in. But just you guys being there to watch.
I beg you put Oramis in. I beg.
Yes. So I've been asked by the council if you guys would like to attend, and we can sort out dates of when it is, because they're aware you're very busy, and it's all up to you guys. But yeah, you guys, are you OG Guardians in?
Undoubtedly. I'm not saying that Galahad's voice intentionally. That's just Oramis getting a bit excited.
Yes, of course.
Mazzy grunts. He's like, if I have to.
I can make an appearance as long as no one expects me to make a speech or put on any performances.
No, I mean, maybe there might be like a speech or something just to, people need to spend this thing. Yeah,
I've got that covered.
Oramis has always been good at persuading people to part with their money.
It's for a good cause, I swear. It's just, thank you. We'll get the dates confirmed for it at some point. It'll probably be in Inksworth in their large amphitheatre. There.
Ooh, I think we should actually hold it somewhere else.
At Lone Hill, of course.
Lone Hill doesn't really have a big theatre.
That's where it all started.
That's
Though.
what we can have an outside theatre.
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad.
Actually, I think we should go to Inksworth.
I really don't think we should.
Unfortunately, that's the only place that will hold such a massive crowd as needed.
Of course. Well said, Daviak. We'll be in Inksworth.
Good. Oramis, whatever trouble you've caused in Inksworth, I'm sure a bit of money can just solve the problem.
I think that's what he's worried about, Daviak. He might have to actually spend some money, some of his own money.
Oh. That's it. No, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no nothing.
You can't get chips to Inksworth as well. That's yes, that's part of his problem. Anyway,
didn't we go to Inksworth before by boat?
It's on a river, but it's a tiny boat.
OG Dragon's Revenge, which was like a glorified rowboat with a sail.
Yeah.
Just one request, Daviak, if you can put this in for us while we're away. Obviously, we've had a recent acquisition in the big lizard man there, so I'm thinking add him to the performance, but just have a man in a lizard costume at various points. Go back and edit the story.
Just in the background.
You know what?
Yeah, just key scenes. Just have him in the back, maybe. And he's a non-speaking part, but it's very visual.
You know what? I'm sure they can work something out. As long as you guys are all there, people will be willing to spend money. You might need to sign an autograph or two, or I don't know. Yeah, give a speech, say hi, kiss a baby. I don't know, all the things people do. You guys are very famous here. It's very annoying.
You're telling me.
But yeah, that's a thing. And
potentially the worst rogue ever.
And in DM terms, that is, the DM had a fun idea for a one shot that we could all potentially do at some point, which would be a bit more fun and laughy rather than.
That sounds fun.
And laughy.
Look, you've just invented a different way of lockpicking. Your face now opens doors.
But,
the very first facial recognition.
But yeah, just a fun little thing I thought would be a little bit of a break from our regularly scheduled programming of a little bit more of a light-hearted, fun thing. I got to work out some of the mechanics and stuff with it, but I think it could be kind of fun. Anyway.
Man, I feel like we're going to end up having. There is going to be a tragedy, and we're all going to have to take our own parts. I can feel it coming. I'm going to be booed off stage with my -2 charisma.
Or whatever he's got. Yeah,
I'm going to be booed off stage.
Oramis is the flourishes from Oramis. Gylndan's okay. Mazzy's a bit blunt, and then Doc is there with a script. And Oramis just nudges him like, "It's not a funeral, mate. Put a bit of life into it."
Doc would never be so obvious. He'd have it painted on the back of his shield, and he does all his lines like this, so no one can hear anything because it's all just hitting the shield.
That'd be fantastic. Anyway, so what is your plan right now? So it is 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock in the evening.
Fucking me.
What is the Guardian's plan? 8 o'clock in the evening.
Drinking games
in the Westland Tavern.
Yeah, I think we'd have a long rest and then we'll depart in the morning.
Yeah. All right.
But
yeah.
I'll just go check whoever's in charge. We don't drag this out too much. Basically, I'm going to find who's in charge of like the rebuilding effort for the college and put a bit of money towards it.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah.
Gylndan's now minted.
It depends how much Ben charges me for this building refurbishment. Well, I say refurbishment. It's building reconstruction.
Well, it depends how much you want to give, obviously. To reconstruct a magical building is going to be quite a lot of money, and refilling bookshelves that were burned, recreating magic items, and re-enchanting certain things.
Yeah,
recreating.
It's a little bit to do with putting money in. It's also to do with showing my face, and I'm is a vacant position in charge of the college open. Also, I hear.
Yeah, that's fair. So
look, what's more important to Oramis, statues or your name on the building of a college? What's more prestige?
Oh, hello.
What's more prestige in Oramis's mind?
I mean, statues is his face. That's the problem.
He's not a wizard, so I feel like you just get a bench, like a random side bench outside.
So this is the Oramis Auditorium, and then just like, what did he do? Oh, nothing that great in terms of wizarding.
He shot an awful lot of Eldritch blasts.
Yeah, he maxed out a cantrip.
He used
Occasionally
dark magic to attain his powers rather than good hard book learning.
As is.
I'm
the
just
best
wondering
way.
whether Oramis will feel outdone if Gylndan gets his name on a building.
Anyway, you speak to a Professor Loxell. She is a professor of conjuration, and she has been sort of leading the efforts of this of this place. She's very happy to see. You probably remember her from some of your time back then. She was more of a sort of TA, I guess you would say, but now she has, she's worked her way up in the ranks. A bit sort of similar to you. She was a bit of a TA while she did her own thing, and now she's more of a permanent fixture in this space. And she happily takes whatever money you would like to give. How much are you giving to these people?
A mighty 3k.
A mighty 3k, yeah. So you hand over 3k. She sort of sounds like, oh, what? Wow, this is incredible. Thank you. This should pay off this should pay off the basic architectural funds. I'm sure. Wow, thank you. I'm sure Archmage Rast would have been very, very happy to know that you're putting some money into this. Space.
I'd also have some tasks that need taken care of, but I would like to very much throw my ring in the hat for if it does come to a replacement for, because Rast is still missing, isn't he?
Yes, Archmage Rast has not returned. We all fear for the worst at this point. We can't even find him through spying methods.
Yeah, I guess one of the things I would have told Gylndan is about Rast's true nature and the fact that he's this Arcandius
900-year-old.
Yeah, 900-year-old initially trained Yara.
Yeah. And you have, I believe, Rast's letter, which you still haven't opened. Gylndan.
Can I open Rast's letter before I go and speak to her?
You absolutely can do.
Gylndan, you are heir to my fortune. Go to this place.
I donate 3,000 gold pieces.
I will read you Rast's letter. So yeah, you're sort of on your way over. You remember Rast's letter, and in the sort of darkening, sort of sunset lit streets of the capital, you read: Gylndan, I hope this letter finds you in good health and high spirits. It is with a heavy heart that I write to you today, bearing news of a great import for both you and the realm of Ambyr. As the Archmage of our fair country, I've seen many talented wizards come and go, but you, my dear friend, are a singular and exceptional individual. In the quiet chambers of contemplation and self-reflection, I've had to come to terms with my own past and the darkness that has long lingered in the back of my mind. The time has come for me to relinquish my duties as the Archmage and make amends for the actions I deeply regret. I believe it is the only path to true redemption. You, Gylndan, have a significant role to play in the times that lie ahead. Your wisdom, your mastery of the arcane arts, particularly the art of divination, as your mentor Moraine has told me, and your unwavering dedication to the betterment of our land are qualities that Ambyr sorely needs right now. In recognition of this, in my office you will find a magical vault, and within it, a letter to the current council strongly recommending you to succeed me as the Archmage of Ambyr until such a time as I feel fit to return, if that ever occurs. If you want it, and feel up to the task, I trust they will recognize your immense potential and grant you this honor. This transition will be a challenging one, but I have every confidence in your abilities. You will lead with grace, compassion, and wisdom, steering Ambyr toward a brighter future. While I embark on my own journey of atonement, my heart shall remain closely bound to the fate of our beloved country. I will be watching from afar. Gylndan, please accept this responsibility with the same grace and humility that have always defined you. I'm certain you will bring honor to the title of Archmage and guide Amber through whatever trials and triumphs lie ahead. As I depart, I carry with me the hopes that one day the shadows of my past may be replaced with the light of redemption. Until then, my dear friend, remember that you and your friends have the potential to shape the destiny of Amber. Trust in your abilities, your wisdom, and your heart. May the arcane winds guide you on your path. May Amber flourish under your stewardship. With the deepest respect and unwavering faith, Archmage Rast.
Oh. So yeah, I mean that. I'll read that first. Go and see Professor Loxall. Donate 3,000 gold pieces, and then show her that letter. Is it easy to find his office?
Yeah. So his office is actually in the sort of opposite half of the thing. So if you remember, it was like it hit, and essentially one side of the whole building sort of came down. His is one of the parts that's still up, though.
Oh, that's convenient.
People generally don't go inside because a lot of the structural integrity of the building is fucked. And like people tried to go inside and sort of clear up bits and bobs, but the floors caved in. But easily enough, you can sort of head inside. You maybe have to use a bit of magic to sort of get up some stairs, which are no longer there. And within, you can find this sort of arcane vault, which, funnily enough, seems locked until you place your hand on the handle. There's a warm glow and a sort of warm feeling to your hand as you feel and hear the sort of like ticking of tumblers inside, and it opens. And inside, there is a letter. A singular letter with a sort of wax stamp. And it says on the other side, to the Council of Amber, to the King and Council of Amber.
Okay, I will. Once I pick that up, I'll go to the castle and drop it off with the council, and say I intend to take this position, but I have stuff I will tend to first. So
yeah. The council is a little bit all over the place right now, but generally they're running sort of out of the library. With the castle destroyed, the College of Wizardry destroyed, they're sort of running out of the upper floors of the library. Is where they're sort of making their space, I guess you would say. And handing that to people. No one's there this time of night. So you hand it to one of the guards who sort of promises to hand it to the relevant authorities. And you can make your way for the evening back wherever you need to go.
we're all staying in the Westland Arms.
Would the house be ready at this point?
Yes, the house is now ready.
We all stay in the house.
I sadly don't have a map of the house available at the present time. But
that's all right. No, I think with the intention of sort of being here for a little bit, Doc would have claimed one of the rooms in the house.
Yeah, I remember there being a lot. So I'll get you guys a picture of it this week, and you can discuss if there's anything you want to do with it.
Can pick your bedroom.
But yeah, there are 12 of you. I don't think there's 12 bedrooms.
Probably not.
But there is certainly space enough for 12 people to stay in there if absolutely needed.
Daviak's probably got Daviak and Geary probably all have stuff in like wherever they're.
Yeah, they can stay like. I wouldn't put it past Nevado to sleep outside in the tree that's outside in the sort of courtyard.
Sounds good. Sounds cozy.
The house. There are like sofas. Like once you enter, everything is no longer this like dark blood red and everything. Like everything is sort of bright colors, new furniture, new sort of new paintings. No more creepy statues and busts and illusions. No, it is a wondrous, bright, open space. And you find you have several servants as well. You have 4 servants that sort of maintain the house in your stead. 2 lads, 2 girls. They are happy to essentially clean the house before you deliver, do before you deliver base. And yeah, you can stay in your new abode for the evening in the Falcon District, the very rich district of Ambyr. You wake up the next morning, and you all, as per your previous plans, begin to get ready. A large feast. If you remember, there was that large sort of table. A large feast has been prepared for you this morning. Bacon, eggs, toast, beans, mushrooms, the full array of things, like a large sort of buffet.
I keep telling them they don't need to do this every day, and if they do, I'm going to need a breastplate stretcher. But they don't.
We haven't seen Doc in like a week, and he's just got a bit of a pot belly. Council life's been harsh to you, my friend.
But yeah, so you all sort of have this wondrous meal, this absolutely glorious meal. So glorious, in fact, that I'm going to bring back a previous rule that we had many moons ago, where you can all roll 2d4 as 10 hit points for the day. Actually, I'm not going to bother because I can't feasibly say that you'll be fighting anything today. It'll take a little while to get the team match thing. But you know what? Fuck it. Roll it if you want. And you can all go about doing whatever you need to do. You'll say your goodbyes. You imagine amongst the Guardians, there's not many hugs and things like that. I imagine it's more handshakes, waves, nods of half respect as
fist
people
bumping
begin going about their business. Yeah, fist bumping from Kaiman. And for the first time in a very long time, the original group of Guardians, all 4 of them, plus Griffin, plus Kaiman.
Just because I'm a fucking idiot, before anyone else gets up, I will ritual cast teleportation circle back to the Dragon's Revenge, pick up Shikara, and then teleport back. I get there and she's like, if elephants could fold their arms and like, hang on a minute.
Literally, she sat there and she refuses. Like you arrive and you're like, all right, Shikara, it's time to go, and she's like, "Argh!" and just sort of like toots at you, and it just sat there, literally like almost with her like hooves somewhat crossed and everything just bunched up in the corner. And one of the crew members is like, yeah, she's been like this for days. She's been a bit. I think you've been away from her a little while. I think she's a bit mad at you, and she's been taking that out on me. As you can see, is this guy's got a black eye.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'll take her along now, off your hands.
Thank you. And yes, you are able to. I mean, you can only teleport with things of medium size or smaller, so you would need to.
Can you?
Hold up. Yeah, you can only teleport with things of your size.
I know that matters for like dimension door. I didn't realize it mattered for other teleportation spells.
Use familiarity, similarity. Oh no, it just says 8 creatures. You can teleport with Chikara. Teleport with Chikara. You make it to the sort of gates of the capital, which are no longer there, and the rubble has had to be sort of largely moved to the side so that people can enter and exit. And you make your way out of the city towards Hawksmoor. Now, you guys are now traveling through. I mean, are you just walking to Hawksmoor? Are you teleporting?
Just to Kithaniel.
Yes, Kithaniel.
Kithaniel is a thing. I would have filled everyone in on what happened to Kithaniel and how Doc healed Kithaniel and returned him to a body.
Yes, he is generally. He wasn't with you guys the night before, You're not entirely sure where he was, but he arrived at breakfast. You know, you don't know what he does in the day, but you know every morning he comes for breakfast for a bacon sandwich. Every morning without fail. So if you want to go with him, if you want him to come with you, you can. He's a bard. He is effectively a level 20 sidekick bard, about 7,000 years old.
I believe he didn't he pledge himself to Doc because Doc restored him to his body?
Pretty much, yeah.
So he'd probably come with Doc.
He'd probably come along, yeah. So he's along for the ride as well. As a reminder, Cathaniel, this slightly older gentleman, definitely a little more slim, now wears more sort of bard attire, or I guess classic sort of squire's attire, I guess, like the sort of puffy sort of shirt with the sort of puffy arms and sort of quite groomed sort of beard, and this large hat with a large feather on the top. Is I feel much more myself.
I've rolled my divination rolls today, and that one has got Oramis' name written all over it. I can't go on, roll a persuasion check, Oramis.
that is literally bottom, middle, top, or top, bottom, middle, exactly.
I used to really dislike rolls like 10, but then now everyone's modifiers are so ridiculous. They're still quite good.
Yeah, they're still really, really good. So how are you getting to Hawksmoor? No, you're going to Tiamat first, aren't you?
No, I thought we were going to do Hawksmoor then Tiamat.
All right. How are you going to Hawksmoor?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I thought it was the other way around.
What, Tiamat and then?
I thought that was the plan. If it's not, that's fine. I'm happy either way.
Let's do Tiamat.
Sort of from a meta thing, Ben said the meeting with Tiamat also sort of lays out the rest of the campaign, so maybe if we get that one done first and then...
Okay, yeah, let's go do Tiamat.
Also, when Doc and Gylndan spoke before, Gylndan was kind of encouraging the Tiamat first.
Alright. I mean, it technically does make sense, because if you think that, you're here, the tower is there, and obviously Hawksmoor is then there, so it kind of goes in a line almost.
Sorry, where's the tower, Ben?
The tower is over this lake here.
Oh, I'd forgotten it was that far south. I thought it was much nearer Lone Hill.
Nah.
Oh, where is it?
The tower is over this lake. I'll just ping it here.
Oh shit.
So yeah, that's where the tower is. So you all proceed to.
How long is the journey there from the capital?
The journey there from the capital with Jakara, you guys being pretty high level people now, so literally nothing fucks with you. I would say it's about a day with good travel. A day with solid travel.
Should we just walk? I don't really have a way of getting teleport would be a bit of a risk, and then also I'm draining myself if we do need to do something.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with just
walking. Everyone happy to walk?
Yeah.
Who drew that?
That would be me.
Blue. There we go. I love it, JJ. I love it. Yeah. So you walk to the tower. You do have to bed down after about the sort of second river. You just about have to sort of bed down for the evening after a sort of long day of walking. Nothing really happens. It's a sort of long, hard day of walking. Fairly boring. The weather's thankfully been on your side. It's not been super sunny, but it's not been raining or anything either. Just a lot of winds, moderate temperature. And the next day you arrive. Yeah, you guys are at the point where
Just want to double check. Have we got Griffin with us as well?
Yeah.
Or is Griffin going sort of more direct to Hawksmoor?
Oh, he'll settle for Hawksmoor if you guys are going. See, now we can teleport to Hawksmoor. No, he'll come with.
Yeah.
Because we go to Hawksmoor. We probably teleport Hawksmoor away from here, and then he'd split.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, you guys are now at the level where any roadside encounters are pretty much trivial. Maybe you do get to a sort of point nearer to the area where you see some like you see like a couple of bandits just sort of like emerge from the side of the road, and then they go, wait, fuck, it's them, and they all begin running away. It's like this group of 3 bandits that thought maybe you were easy pickings until they saw the elephant, the armored paladins and archers, and just generally the guardians, and they just fucked off like a million miles an hour, running off into the hills. But as you sort of, you spend a day traveling, wake up the next morning, begin heading there, and within sort of the first half of the day, maybe about 12 o'clock, you begin to then see it, this huge tower. And rolling on to about 2 o'clock is when you can now oversee this large lake, this huge lake. Like maybe like there's a small village on the edge of it, but there's never really. I mean, that village is obviously abandoned now, and you can see this massive tower, miles tall, still ominously stood, hovering over this huge lake. Now, a reminder for Kaiman. So, Kaiman, you obviously arrive here and you just see this tower. And when I say miles tall, literally, like, you see maybe the bottom half of it before it just disappears off into the clouds. And it is as wide as this lake. And it is just like this god's needle pointing down upon the earth. So as you arrive, there is one difference to what it was like before. Now the lake, you can see every now and again there's these pulsating tremors. Sort of slightly going over the lake. Thankfully, as you arrive here, obviously there's no demons spawning, nothing really happening. And you can see around the lake there have been set up several sort of military camps, small camps, and over the past couple of months they've been dwindling, but they are here. And as you guys arrive, a soldier on horseback sort of rides towards you. He says, "All right, folks, no sightseeing. We don't want people in this area." Oh, it's you. Oh. Guardians, he sort of gives you a bow on his horse, and the horse also like bows down as well at the same time. What are you doing? You're not going back in, are you?
I'm afraid so.
Oh, okay. Well, it's been quiet for the past couple of months, although it must have been maybe about a week ago. Maybe 8
About
days.
a week ago.
9 days. It started having these tremors in the water that maybe every, 30 seconds. These strange tremors. It's like it feels, going to be weird to say for architecture, but it feels impatient. Waiting. I don't know. Anyway.
We don't have a certain idea of what's going to happen when we go in there, so maybe get your men ready.
Yes, absolutely. I'll get all the men ready, and I'll send messages.
We might find, if we're fortunate, we might find something that can remove this monstrosity. Although I would not hold out hope that is the case.
Well, here's to hoping. So long as removing it is like magically removing it. If this thing comes down, I wouldn't want to be underneath that. Anyway,
just remember, if it falls, run sideways, not forwards.
Sideways, not forwards.
Have you heard the tale of Prometheus?
Forward. Sideways, not forwards. And he sort of like turns around and waves goodbye, turns around, goes back to his camp, and just repeating the mantra: sideways, not forwards, sideways, not forwards, as he's going back to his camp. You guys arrive at the shore of this lake, sort of like a pebble shore of this lake. And you remember the last time you went in, you had to physically walk into the lake and let the waters envelop you in order to transport yourselves within the tower. is there any final preparations people would like to make before going in? Any spells cast, any stuff they want to do last bit of RP, or are you just heading on in?
Heading on in, I think.
Yeah.
Alright.
So a team huddle before we go in.
Yeah. Bit of a team huddle. Nathaniel's like, alright guys, fucking get this. I've seen bigger towers. I haven't really. Well, there was that one time. Nathaniel slaps himself and a broom comes around.
Gylndan cast Disintegrate.
Broom comes around and slaps him on the back of the head. He's like, oh, sorry, I ramble when I'm nervous.
We'll be fine, old friend.
Yeah, and with that, you all sort of stand by the edge of the lake, and slowly begin wading into the waters. As you sort of lower yourselves into the water, it's not like going into regular water. You can't see like blurred vision, you just end up in darkness. But you still feel the water around you. And though you try to hold your breath and stop the water from going into your mouth, you feel it sort of pulling itself in. You feel your mouths being forced open, the water gushing into your mouths, your eyes, your ears, every orifice it can, pushing its way into your body, enveloping you. You can't breathe. And just as you can't breathe and the slight instinctual panic begins to kick in, you shut your eyes and open them to Tiamat's tower. And that is where we'll end the session for today.
So, Chikara's not coming into the tower.
I thought that was fairly obvious.
Yes, that's fair.
Cool. Well, next session we'll tick Tiamat's tower off and possibly Doc's Hawksmoor thing as well. Possibly. And Sam, I mean, did you want to do Griffin's thing in session? More than happy to.
I don't know if you had an idea for it.
I mean, I certainly have an idea for it. I've prepped it to be done in session, but I'm basically saying if you would rather keep that a secret thing between, for your character, that's fine. Otherwise,
If no one else is going to be there, I wouldn't mind keeping it secret.
Yeah.
Actually, the Paladins of Tyr are a demonic cult, and my goal is to bring hell to the earth, which I've already been doing, really. So.
Knew it. Sorry. I knew it.
This bastard is a horrible man.
Well, I will message you about that then this week if you'd rather do it. Just me and you, and we can work that out and say that Griffin appears with the other group at some point. I feel like we got a lot done today. I feel like we've sort of planned out the end game.
I feel like Doc would be interested. It's another sort of like religious thing, and had spent some time with Griffin, getting to know him over the last sort of couple of weeks. And I feel like if they're on sort of the pathway back into Hawksmoor anyway, I feel like Doc would be interested in it. If you'd rather keep it a secret, I understand, and that's fine.
I mean, you say the pathway back into Hawksmoor, but realistically looking at the map, so you guys are obviously where that symbol of Tiamat is. Griffin is going up to this little mountain there. That northernmost mountain at the top of the set of mountains, and Hawksmoor is obviously down there. So it's not exactly in the path. It's certainly in the same mountain range, but it's a big mountain range. It's it's sort of in the way, I guess you could say, but not exactly in the way. But if you want, yeah, that's a question for you guys, I guess. Something to figure out in the week, I guess, whether you want to do it or not. Let me know. I have stuff prepped if you want to do it in session, and with people or without people, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I'll let you know when we use them.
But yeah, feel like
Alrighty.
cool. Yeah, feel like we got a lot done today. Prepped, I guess, sort of prepped and got an idea for the end of the campaign, which is kind of cool. A bit scary, but yeah, should be good fun.
If you had to put a very rough estimate on it, Ben, when do you think we would end up in
I have no idea. As you all know by now, I'm terrible at, trying to figure out the length of things. I know that obviously the arcs I have prepared for this aren't anywhere near as complex or potentially large as defeating a dragon priest. But at the same time, it's entirely up to you guys how much you guys want to do, how much you guys want to go into it. Obviously, we're getting to very high tier play, so combat's going to take a little longer, which is something we can all try and do our best with. There's a lot. You guys have lots of characters, so it's not like. I mean, on the one hand, that's good because it means that one character doesn't have to be. You don't have to go through you guys' characters traveling lots of places. But on the other hand, you have multiple characters who have multiple things they can do, and yada yada yada. So I don't really know. If I had to assume, it would be sometime in 2024.
Oh, nice. Not at all vague.
Not at all vague. Probably like the first half of 2024, if I had to put a rough guess on it. But that is a yes. Getting sick of it already. I say already, it's been many years.
I don't know, I'll just close my notes for now, but I could see how long we've been playing it for.
Yeah. No, it's been a long ass time.
We started on the 10th of September 2020. So we've been playing for over 3 years.
Yeah. It is very rare.
So I feel like it's not necessarily the end of Amber, but I feel like maybe the end of this story, that's a good sort of length, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I'm very aware that some arcs went should, and if I had it my way, they might have gone a little bit. I say I had it my way.
Did you not? Is the entire thing not your way?
Well, in part is shared collaborative stories, but if I could do things over, things would have been shorter, and therefore, we would be a little bit further ahead. But that's something I'm definitely learning about, is speeding things up and getting through things quicker. And if and that's something I'm definitely going to be taking forward, especially into any other campaigns or games or anything we do in the future, and just these arcs as well. Like, I've really narrowed them down to be as punchy and fun, but not super, lots of avenues and different things like that. As I can. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm aware we've been playing this a long time. I'm aware, people might be interested in new stories and new ideas and new characters, and even want to run a game themselves or something like that. So, bear with me. But at the same time, I hope you're all having fun, and I hope we can make.
Yeah, it's not like a how soon can it end. It's just obviously, I don't know. It just gives it. It's nice if like. I don't know if you have this other stuff as well, but when the end's in sight, or when the end is, it just helps you. Well, I think it helps us as players do what we want to do,
Yeah.
How much more do you want to do for your character, kind of thing. It gives you a chance you can map the whole thing if you know where it's going to end.
Well,
if you don't.
Well, that's the thing, and obviously you'll learn. In the next session, you'll learn sort of how much quote unquote time there is before the end game. Essentially, you'll learn the deadline your characters have on how much time there is before the end game happens, and yeah, we'll get into that next session. But no, I definitely agree, and we'll get to that. But the end is definitely in sight, and it'd be sad to see this go, but who knows what other stories we can bring about. I know some people were saying that they were intrigued on a Star Wars thing. Potentially doing a longer form Star Wars thing. I've already had ideas for that. Because this Star Wars campaign is fun. I'm excited for Saturday. But
Right, well,
we'll get there when we get there. But thank you all for coming this week. Thank you all for playing. Any notes? See you guys next week, where we will be entering Tiamat's Tower.
See you Saturday, Ben.
Meh. And yeah, see most of you on Saturday for some game. Well, some Star Wars game. Bye.
See ya.